Richard Munroe, please come forward.
Hi, Coach Richard.
Folks, enjoy the video.
From 69 to 73, actually. Well, he was very special in many ways. He was obviously very physically talented. He was very, very coachable, positive energy beyond anything I'd seen before.
He was so far superior to most of the other local runners. On a cross-country course in particular, he was pretty soon out of sight.
I think people underestimate the fact that some people are trainable in certain areas, some are not. But eventually, can you take it to a competition? Richard's ability to take it to a competition was exceptional.
One big aspect of his team approach in cross-country, it's scoring of 5 runners. So it's just important that the second, third, fourth, and fifth finish as high up as they can. Typically, after he finished, he'd have a fair gap, but he could trot back on the course a ways and urge the fellow who was coming second, third, fourth, or fifth on the team to boot it in.
This recognition is long overdue. You were the leader of a wave of championship teams at Dalhousie who still tell stories about you. And I hope you brought your golf clubs with you, because I know that's the only place I could ever beat you.
Hi, Richard. Thanks for all those great memories from 40 plus years ago. I just wish I could have kept a little closer to you when we were running those races, and at least keep you in sight.
When it comes to running farther and faster, Richard has gone the distance. It started when he was a 14-year-old Sea Cadet, and running was a requirement at the Cornwallis camp. Coming off a sprained ankle, Munroe won a 1.5-mile race. That propelled him into cross-country running in 3 straight provincial high school championships. In the late 1960s, he started competing for Dalhousie University, never losing a race during his 5 years there. He topped the podium at every Atlantic and National University track meet he attended. Richard claimed 5 consecutive Atlantic Canada Senior Open Cross-Country Championship titles and has won numerous regional road races, finishing with record times. He triumphed at track and field meets here and abroad, including a 1971 trip to Sao Paulo, Brazil, where he raced in a road race as the sole Canadian. In the summer of 1971, Richard trained in Toronto with Canadian running icons Bruce Kidd and Bill Carruthers, and in November of that year, he won the Canadian Cross Country Championship in Halifax by 42 seconds over the second-place finisher, Canadian Olympian Dave Ellis. A year later, he won the AUAA and CIAU Cross Country Championship, the 5,000 meters in the AUAA Track and Field Championships, and he earned the Climo Trophy as Dal's Outstanding Male Athlete. He worked in sport administration with the Nova Scotian Canadian Track and Field Associations as Executive Director of Run Canada. He was asked to help complete Terry Fox's run and later inaugurated the annual Terry Fox Run as Managing Director, one of the proudest moments of his career. Relentless in his pursuit of excellence, Richard Munroe is a racing legend, and tonight we induct him into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame.
Our first inductee tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Munroe. Stand and wave. To present his plaque, Egg Films tonight, responsible for this great video that you're seeing. So to present the plaque is Egg Films senior producer Kevin Kincaid, and a longtime cross-country and track coach at Dalhousie, and the man who started Richard Munroe on his stellar championship running career, and a 2000 inductee to the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame, Mr. Al Yard, to present the pin. So here's the part you were really looking forward to, right here. Congratulations, first of all. What does it mean A guy like Al Yar, you heard him on the tape and you had a lovely little moment with him there. What did a guy like him mean to your career?
You know, the whole thing is humbling. You know, it's not something you expect. I trace back. I have my mother still here with me. I'm thrilled she's here tonight, Sylvia. And I remember the spring of 1968. Al came to my parents' home in Dayspring to recruit me to come to Dal, and that unleashed a journey I would never have had if he hadn't come and gotten me to go to Dalhousie. My whole life changed because of that one thing, him recruiting me. And the motivation, I think many in this room know Al. He's quite a unique guy. He's a little bit passionate about sport. He has every trivia fact in the world recorded, down to the second. So he really understands the sport, and when he was starting to really get into coaching track and field in '68. He'd started, but he was really in the early days. And his inquisitiveness, his initiative to research and look for new training methods that I benefited from, primarily in Point Pleasant Park, was remarkable. So I owe him an awful lot, and those words were very nice.
Listen, a lot of people think of what you did for so many years as kind of a solitary pursuit. And if you read the program tonight, Joel Jacobs did a profile on you. You say it wasn't so solitary.
Well, at a time like this, you have to be really appreciative of the people around you. You compete within an arena with other competitors, with teammates, and you train with them. And they're part of my success here. They're part of the reason why I'm standing here tonight, because without them in the training environment, the fun, the team camaraderie, and you heard the fact that you had to run as a team and win as a team, they're a big, big part of that. And the other people I would want to acknowledge are all of the volunteers who in sport, who put on the competitions, who run the competitions. They're the real champions in many respects. They run the organizations, and without them, I would not have had the opportunities to run in cross-country competitions, track and field, the road races, and the great rich road race history in Nova Scotia is phenomenal. So I just feel very thankful and appreciative of having had that opportunity to be, associated with them. And you don't really realize it when you're running. It hits you after you finish your career. Right.
When you stop, yeah. Never losing an AUS race for 5 years. That's pretty impressive. Did that start to build pressure-wise for you? Because you clearly knew that you were undefeated.
It was interesting. Al, last night we had a bit of a reception for colleagues that I hadn't seen in 20, 30 years down at Salty's in a private room. And he said, I want you to come up tomorrow morning. We've got our cross-country teams getting ready for the national championships next week I think it's in Newfoundland. And he wanted me to say a few words. One of the biggest things to deal with is the stress and pressure of going to the starting line and how you cope with that. And when you're fit and you really feel you're ready, I felt a calm on the starting line. But after you win for a long time, you almost can start to think about, when am I going to lose rather than I'm going to win the next race. So yeah, I had to deal with that for a while.
Yeah, you dealt with it well. You're also dressed like $1 million, man. You look great. Well, folks, our first inductee here tonight, Richard Munroe.